The 2021-2022 season previews continue today with the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, your Tampa Bay Lightning. And let's just say a three-peat is a lot less possible this coming year because this team lost a lot. Now, they gained a little bit of it back, but they lost a lot. So we're all going to cover that today. We're going to cover the projected lineup, key departures, key arrivals. You know the jig. Anyways, if you're new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed yet, I would like if you would do that, please. We are only literally three subscribers away from 300. It would be amazing if you guys could help me hit that goal. That would be amazing. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get into the preview. So last season for the Tampa Bay Lightning and the season before were great seasons. They went 36, 17, and 3 in their division this year for 75 points. They finished 8th, if I'm not mistaken, and they also finished 3rd in their division. So a Stanley Cup champion finished 3rd. Yeah, and they were 8th. So that division was pretty good. They beat the Florida Panthers in 6 games to start off the playoffs. Very physical, very fun series. I think that series will definitely get more tension this season as those battles happen. It's kind of boring before that, but now I think it's going to get more intense. They beat the Carolina Hurricanes in 5 games in the second round to win out the Central Division. I think it's Central Division, right? Yeah, it should be. And then they beat the New York Islanders in 7 games. And I've been saying for a long time, and I'll say this in the Islanders preview as well, the Islanders were the hardest series for Tampa in both years. You can't tell me otherwise. The second hardest had to be probably Florida. Florida gave them a lot of problems. But apart from that, they pretty much just rolled through every team. No other team gave them problems. That's the amazing part about the domination of this Tampa Lightning team. Like, this team is unreal. And sure, they lost a lot of guys, but the team is crazy. And then, of course, they beat the Montreal Canadiens in 5 games to win the 2021 Stanley Cup. Do they go for a three-peat this year? I don't see it. But you know what? With this team, to be honest, you never know, relatively. Your key departures list for the Tampa Bay Lightning is as follows. They lost Yanni Gourde to the Seattle Kraken in the draft. We obviously knew that was going to be a problem for Tampa. We knew that was not going to be easy at all. So it makes sense that they let go of a guy like him, and we knew this whole third line was going to fall apart. They also lost depth forwards Spencer Martin, Mitchell Steffens, Devontae Steffens. I don't think they're related. Andreas Borgman and Christopher Gibson. 2 goalies, I think 3 forwards. Some solid guys that they lost there in depth, mostly their AHL team. And then here are the guys that were big. They lost Luke Schenn, who I've talked about Schenn before on the channel. He's a pretty underrated defenseman who I think, sure, he's playing on a good Tampa team, but I think he will thrive in Vancouver either way. They also lost David Savard, which we knew that was a pure rental. They acquired him for a first-round pick. We knew out of the gate that was a pure rental. They also lost Blake Coleman, a big notable forward there to the Calgary Flames. He's big on that roster. They also lost Tyler Johnson in a trade with Chicago. And then they also lost Barclay Goodrow in also a trade with the Rangers, I think, where they signed him to a 6-year deal. You know, obviously, everything else went down. So, yeah, that was basically all their key departures. They lost some big-name guys there, notably that entire third line of Coleman, Goodrow, Gourde. And we were talking about how, Johnson will be on the move, and they moved him. They obviously had to get that out of there. So now they're under the cap, if I'm not mistaken. What now? What do they do now exactly? That's the question. Your key arrivals list for the Lightning consists of some depth guys, some other guys who probably play on that bottom 6. Most notably Corey Perry for the coming from the Montreal Canadiens, and before that the Dallas Stars, who ironically faced the Tampa Bay Lightning in both seasons. So Perry's been to the finals 2 years in a row. He hasn't won it. Maybe he's the curse, maybe not. I heard that Patrick Maroon was begging him to come on the team, which I actually found kind of funny. They also acquired Andre Suster, Charles Hudon, Maxime Lagacé, Gabriel Dumont, and Darren Radish as some depth guys there. They also got one of my personal favorites and my brother's favorite player, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, who, of course, used to play for the Flyers, got taken by Vegas, went to Colorado, and now he's in Tampa. So he's going around everywhere. They also acquired, speaking of the Flyers, they also got Brian Elliott, who from the Flyers, who I've always had respect for. I thought Elliott was always one of those guys who just got criticized a lot in Philly and really didn't deserve it. And, Philly had a down year. It was time to move on. And this is probably going to be Brian Elliott's last year in the NHL. If not, I don't know, to be honest. They also acquired Zach Bogosian. He's back, baby. After a year in Toronto, he returns to Tampa. Excuse me, on a 3-year contract, if I'm correct. And then they also acquired the legend Brent Seabrook, but he's for LTIR purposes. They just acquired the contract of him in the Tyler Johnson trade, so that's a good move for Chicago on that part. But these guys are not going to replace what Tampa lost. No way. Do I look at this team and look at their new additions and think, just off of that alone, do I think that their rivals are going to win them the cup? No, I don't see it happening personally. So this team, they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't know about a cup. Your projected lineup for the Tampa Bay Lightning consists of, in their top 6, you have Andre Palat, Steven Stamkos, and Nikita Kucherov as your first line. Then you have Alex Killorn, Braden Point, and Patrick Maroon as your second line. So what I did was I put Point down to the second line center because I probably think that's where he's going to start next season. You could move him up to first line right wing or first line left wing, depending on how you want to look at it. But I think that Point probably stays in the second line center. But yeah, since they lost a lot of their key guys, Palat's on the first line. And I think Palat's a good move to have on the first line for the right wing. I think it's going to be smart. So that's their top 6. Their bottom 6 and their filling guys consist of Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Anthony Cirelli, and Matthew Joseph. Then you have Kajovic, I don't even know his last name, Ross Colton, and Corey Perry. Then you have on the fill-in centers, Alexander Andre Ballet. I can't say his name. My mouth. Ballet. Alexander. I can't. And Jamel Smith as your other guy. I don't know what my mouth did there. But, yeah, that's your bottom 6. Solid. It's not as good as it used to be, having the guy named Kajkovic on your fourth line right wing. Not knowing who he is probably a bad sign. But, we'll see how he develops. And we know Tampa, they can develop good talent. We obviously knew that. So, with what they're going to do with this team, could shock some people. As for the defense, you have Victor Hedman and Nikita Sergachev as your first top pairing, obviously. That's if Hedman doesn't get injured, which I think might happen. Ryan McDonough and Jan Rutta as your second pairing. Then you have Samikin and Chernak as your third pairing. And then you have Bogosian and Foote as your filling guys on the right D side. We'll obviously see Cal and Foote play some time this season. And Bogosian will obviously get some time, probably above Chernak. Maybe not. It wouldn't surprise me. So we'll see where they go for that route. But yeah, I think that defense is pretty strong. I mean, losing Shen and Savard obviously hurts it. I mean, you add those two guys to this lineup, the defense is just stacked. Like, you have McDonough on the second pairing, or McDonough on the third pairing. Like, this team was just mind-blowing last season. The fact that they kept it together was unbelievable. Vasilevsky and Elliott are your two goalies. Obviously, Vazzy's going to play like 70 of the games, and Elliott's going to play like 10. But you know what? Elliott could very well win them a couple because Elliott is that good of a goalie. I have a lot of respect for Brian Elliott, and you know what? He could be like Price, or Vasilevsky could turn into Price and play bad in front and play bad as a starter when he has a good backup. So you can say what you will, but obviously this team is not the team that won the Stanley Cup, but they're still a solid team. And now on to my final question: do they make the playoffs? Now, I can't imagine them winning a cup again. I can't imagine seeing them win a cup. Just like with how that team was last year, it was incredible. Like, that team had so many stacked players. Like, their depth was unreal. Like, you could take one guy out and another really solid guy would come in and play well. And then the defense was just unbelievable, and you had a backstopping goalie. It's possible that they can win another Stanley Cup, but it's not likely. I don't see them winning another one. I don't see them going through for a third year. If they go for a third year, they're the first team since the Islanders, by the way, to win 3 straight Stanley Cups, which is ironic because they faced the Islanders twice. And that would consider them a dynasty. And you can even consider them a dynasty right now, to be honest. Their whole entire history is generally good. They haven't had a bad season relatively. I mean, they were bad a little bit there in the early 2000s, so they got Stamkos and Kucherov, obviously, and the guys that they have now. But with what this team has done, like, I don't see them going bad ever. And people are saying, like, oh, they're going to miss the playoffs. They're going to be rebuilding for the next 15 years. I don't know. I don't really think so. Kucherov's still relatively young. Stamkos can go on for a little bit. Point's still young. Vazzy's still young. You got to remember that. Unless the entire thing falls apart, I can't imagine this team will be bad. Now, do I think they'll win their division? That's a stretch, but I can't see them missing the playoffs. There's no way they don't. Or there's no way they don't. There's no way they miss the playoffs. There's no way. So, I have this team making the playoffs. I have them probably getting past the first round. Maybe they make it to the finals again. Maybe they don't. You can decide. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below on what you think Tampa's going to do this season. If you're new to the channel and you're a Tampa fan, by the way, please make sure to subscribe. I make a lot of Tampa content on here, especially over the past couple of years or past 2 years. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.